Hello Wolfpack. I want to do a quick video on BNB, Binance coin, and the reason being is because a lot of people are forming their altcoin season portfolios. As you would know, altcoin season is coming. It's on the way. Technically, altcoin season starts after Bitcoin tops out typically, but that's not necessarily the case. November is when altcoins start to move. We just don't reach that parabolic phase until after Bitcoin tops out for most altcoins, right? There are altcoins like Litecoin, for example, that do actually top out with Bitcoin, but the vast majority of altcoins, or at least most of them, top out after Bitcoin. So we haven't seen a real cycle. I mean, we saw a cycle here for BNB in 2018, which we did top out in January. So we can kind of assume, just based off one data point, which is a little bit rough, but just based off one data point, that BNB will be seeing probably the vast majority of its gains during the January season, right? So that's after Bitcoin tops out. I'm expecting Bitcoin to top out on January the 6th or around that region, right? So BNB should be topping out after that in the peak altcoin season. So we are waiting for that point, but generally what we do see in altcoins is moves being made within November, right? Because November is actually one of the most bullish months in the market, and usually what we see is altcoins lagging in October and catching up in November, and that's what we're probably going to be seeing in this cycle as well. We saw the lagging in October, and now we're probably going to be seeing the catching up in November. So let's jump into the chart here, and before we even do that, sorry, just one more thing. One of the reasons I'm doing this video is because a lot of people are looking for large cap exposure, right? Because you might be in the process right now, you might already have done it, right? Where you're trying to form an altcoin season portfolio, as I said, and you need that large cap exposure. BNB, as you would know, or maybe you don't, but as most people would know, is a top 3 coin, right? It's third on the market cap ranking currently. It has been battling with ADA over that position in recent months, but it is third, quite solidly third. And if you don't have Bitcoin and you don't want to buy Ethereum, you might be looking for a high cap coin, and BNB might be the solution to that coin. Just one thing I'd say to preface this entire video is the fact that you should probably look into the concerns about regulatory situations with Binance, because it is somewhat of a threat. No matter how much of a fan of BNB you are, I don't think personally it's going to affect BNB in this bull market. That's my personal opinion, but you might disagree. So go ahead and check out some of the news just before investing in this coin blindly, because there is some stuff that you should be aware of as investors. Whether it's actually threatening or not is a different question, but you should definitely be aware of it. I think that personally, if you're not a fan of Ethereum and you want that high cap exposure, maybe you don't like ADA either, you might be going with BNB, right? You might be going with BNB. I do know that, BNB's moved up quite massively. So is ADA though. And then when you go down further, you go to coins like XRP, which is a little bit more high risk, right? Because you have that lawsuit. You have Solana and stuff like that, which have already moved drastically, right? BNB is a solid middle ground. I don't mind it for high cap exposure, and that's why I'm making a video on it, because I think that, even with the regulatory concerns about Binance, I think that will hold out for the next 3 months until the bull market ends regardless. I don't think anything drastic will happen there, so I'm not too concerned about it, and I am looking at BNB. If I did need extra high cap exposure, I don't personally need high cap exposure, so I don't actually hold BNB, but if I did need it, it would definitely be one of the coins that I consider holding. Now we'll get into the charts here, and what we can see on BNB is a strong upwards trend. Now I have this called buying range here. We did pick up BNB back here in July 21st, right? July 22nd, sorry, when we saw that massive engulfing green candle. We picked it up there in the Wolfpack. Unfortunately, the Wolfpack wasn't too big at that point in time, but a lot of guys who would have picked it up should be up at around 2x now on BNB. Obviously, one thing to note is that, as a high cap coin, it's going to move slower than other coins. So if you're looking for massive returns, you'd probably be looking for a bit of a lower on the market cap ranking than BNB, because for BNB to do massive returns, it takes a lot of money due to the, it's like Bitcoin, for example. Bitcoin 2xing is a massive deal, whereas the smaller cap altcoin 10xing is like a mediocre deal, So same thing with BNB, right? So I wouldn't be expecting it to do anything like a 10x or anything like that. But, if you want consistent gains, a bit of stability in your portfolio, that's what you want to be looking for. And we have this solid upwards trend. So you have a region in which you can pretty clearly identify take profit zone if everything goes south, right? If we drop below this white line here, that would be a a zone in which you'd be looking to take profits on BNB. That would be a pretty good indicator that the bull market's over, right? We haven't actually dropped below that zone ever since we started it back in February. So it's been about 8 to 9 months of support from that zone. So yeah, as you know, if we did, in worst case scenario, we come back down, drop below this zone, you'd be selling, and you'd probably be looking to exit the entire market, right? But you know, you wouldn't be looking at BNB as to whether they exit the entire market, but certainly in BNB's case, you'd be selling at that point. What we are seeing, though, in the short term, and one of the reasons I'm making this video is the fact that we're actually seeing an inverse head and shoulders pattern playing out on BNB. Yes, it has played out almost fully here, but the most interesting thing about this pattern is the neckline, and the neckline, you know, is currently forming in this critical resistance box, which is between around 520 USD to 550 USD. If we break above the neckline, you could say that it's 550 USD. If we do break above the neckline, we can measure a target from the retest of this support line, which is actually the top of the head, right? The bottom of the head, I should say, because it's inversed, to the neckline, and we can extrapolate that data to the breakout point, right? Assuming we break out in, say, a couple of days. Doesn't actually matter because we don't really have a time target for it, but we should be reaching, you know, according to that head and shoulders pattern, 770 USD on BNB. Now, when will that happen? That's harder to say because, you know, head and shoulders patterns don't typically give us a breakout, you know, time frame. But what I would say is that November, and as I said before, November is typically a region, a time in the market where we are very bullish on altcoins. So potentially we could be reaching that in November. It is a gain of around 47%, right? That wouldn't be too unheard of. You know, worst case scenario, we come up, you know, break this neckline, because there's no doubt in my mind that we'll be breaking this neckline, and we might find some challenges at 625 USD or 700 USD, which are our resistance zones. Obviously 705 USD is our all-time high. So we might find some rejections in that region, but ultimately the target is 770 USD. As for the Bitcoin pair on BNB, what we can see is a pretty strong, you know, upwards move in this bull market. It's made a bit of ground here on the Bitcoin pair. In fact, it made its highest valuation on the Bitcoin pair at around 12,200 sats. And we've just entered a downwards, well, not actually a descending triangle, but just a triangle formation, symmetrical triangle formation. And we've been holding that triangular formation for almost 6 months, right? Almost 6 months. So it's taken a long time. And, you know, if we do see a breakout to the upside, which I think we will be seeing, right? I don't think that's rocket science. We might be seeing, however, further consolidation into this triangle until Bitcoin tops out, right? This triangle ends all the way in February. So we've got plenty of time. And as I said, Bitcoin will be topping out in January. BNB only moves massively from January onwards, right? What we've seen historically, at least. And so, you know, if we break out in January, what we can do is we can take a target from the first retest of the bottom to the first retest of the top and extrapolate that data point to the first week of January. And we can expect that BNB will reach a target of around 13,800 sats. That's just due to the triangle. Now, it might go higher than that. What I will say is that in the next couple of weeks, we will be seeing a bullish MACD cross if we continue the upside. Obviously, if we reject off of this triangle and continue moving in it, which is what I'm actually expecting, right? Because I said we'll break out in early January, most likely. Then, you know, we might be delaying that bullish MACD cross. But the fact of the matter is, it is there for when we break out. And when we do break out, we will be supported by that bullish MACD cross, which makes me think that this whole move from around 8,000 sats to around 13,800 sats should be happening within 1 week or 2 weeks maximum, right? And we've seen that before. That's not too unheard of. We've seen, you know, in 2 weeks, we've moved up pretty massively. Oh, I don't even need to show you. You can just look at the chart here. You know, we've made some volatile moves. So when we break out, no doubt we'll be just copying that pattern and making some volatile moves once again. Now, as for some indicators, I haven't actually brought up any indicators. I just remember we just saw a bullish MACD cross on BNB. So if we don't have the momentum to get through the neckline right now, it might be a slight problem, and this whole head and shoulders pattern might be invalidated. In that case, what we would be looking for is coming back down and finding support, you know, somewhere in the middle here. We don't want to retrace all the way back down to 436 USD, and I don't think we will. Finding support somewhere in the middle and then breaking to the upside. Yes, we won't have that price target of 770 USD anymore. more, but it would still be bullish. Now, ideally, we just break out here, but what we have actually seen is a doji candle, which is a candle of basically a reversal, right? So it is quite likely, there is a possibility that we do reject here briefly on BNB. But ideally we break to the upside, and who knows, maybe this inverse head and shoulders pattern will continue playing out, even if we break out to the upside a little bit, break out to the downside a little bit, and then we finally see a break to the upside up to 770 USD. But ultimately, and I think we're going to go higher than this in this bull market. Obviously, I don't think 770 USD is the top, but ultimately, I think that is the short-term top or the mid-term top within the next couple of months. As for the actual top, we don't really have too much data on BNB, but what we can do is we can take our price here, and this is what I do with every coin where I'm not 100% sure. We take our price point we reached on BNB at around 700 USD. In May or April or something around here. Yeah, May, sorry. And at the same time as we did that, we reached 64K on Bitcoin. Assuming Bitcoin reaches my personal price prediction of 113K by January the 6th, we will be extrapolating that data onto BNB and adding, we'll add 30% returns, right? This is just off the top of my head on BNB because obviously altcoins move higher and more volatile than Bitcoin. Now 30% returns, usually with a lower cap altcoins that add up to 50% returns, but BNB is quite high cap, so you can't expect it to move too far. And then what we can do essentially is we can take that price target, extrapolate that data roughly, we could say around 120%. And then, from that rough estimate, we could say, well, roughly, I'm thinking that BNB can hit around 1,500 USD. If you were very conservative, I'd probably be saying around 1,300 USD, somewhere in that region, right? There's a lot of people who would say that BNB is going to 10K, BNB. I don't buy it personally, just due to market cap problems. For BNB to go to 10K, I assume it'd need to be about the same size as Bitcoin or even bigger. So I personally don't think that's going to happen. I think 1,300 to 1,500 seems reasonable to me on BNB. Obviously, that's not that's not a firm price prediction, right? I haven't really done much data analysis to come to that point. It's just a rough estimate based on what I'm looking at here. So if it doesn't play out, don't come at me with a stake. But essentially, yeah, that's what I'm thinking for BNB, somewhere in that region. It would make sense to me. I mean, looking at Ethereum, which is slightly, well, not slightly, it's actually considerably higher on the market cap ranking. I'm expecting Ethereum to go anywhere from 9 to 13K, right? And that's about a 2x from its all-time high. So BNB should at least be 2xing, right? If not more. So I think maybe 1,500, even 1,600 should be playing out here on BNB. I don't really see any reason why that can't happen. That's what I'm looking at for BNB. I think it looks okay. If you want to consider it, consider adding it to your high cap part of your portfolio, high market capitalization, start evening out, start creating a portfolio for the altcoin season. It's probably not a bad idea, and BNB might be one of those potential picks that you choose. So look into it. It doesn't look too bad. It's not a coin that's going to give you a 10x. It's not a coin that's going to make you a millionaire anymore. If you wanted that, you probably should have gone in the bear market, but it definitely is a coin that's going to offer some sort of stability and some sort of very, very likely to offer some sort of return as well. And if you think about it on a larger scale, we're at 500 USD right now. A 3x is actually pretty good, right? It's to the market cycle peak. If you think about every single financial market, you're looking at 7% per year, and I just find it comical that people think a 3x is nothing in cryptocurrency. It's actually a really massive gain, and you think that even a coin third on the market cap ranking can hit a 3x. It's pretty massive, right? It's pretty massive. So, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one.